Welcome to DMX Lighting for Beginners. This is part 3, and in this part I will be showing you how to program more complex lights. In the first 2 videos of this series, I've dealt with RGB lights, simple 3-channel lights, red, green and blue. Now I'm going to move on to more complex lighting programming. This is an RGB laser, and it uses 6 channels to control it. With all the faders on full, this will give a value of 255 to all the parameters of the laser. It is a good idea at this stage to consult the manual that came with the laser. In the manual, it will give you the values of each of these faders from 0 to 255 and tell you what they actually do to the laser. Or you could just mess around with the faders and see what they do. But I recommend having a look at the laser's manual to see what they do first. It will give you some idea and make it easier. Most LED lights have a factory program built in that will scroll through all the available options, and it's a good idea to use this for a general wash of laser light. Consult the manual to see where the faders need to be to access the factory program. I would normally assign this to scene memory number 12, and on a Showtec 2412 lighting desk, I would hold down the record button. Whilst doing that, hold down the number of the scene you wish to put the laser to and release the record button. Using the scene faders with an RGB light, they simply act as faders, making the light dimmer or brighter. But the fader now for this laser on the scene memory is different. If you move it up and down to different positions, the fader will access different laser patterns. But the anchor point that you need is with the fader on full to give you the effect that you programmed in the first place. When you start to use the lighting rig live, you may find that by pulling the fader down, you get a better laser effect that you'd like to keep. So once again, consult the manual, get the laser effect that you want, and lock this into another scene memory. Always group types of lights together. It's much easier on the brain during a live performance. When using a Showtec 2412 lighting desk, once you've actually programmed your light setting into the scene memory, make sure that you pull down the input faders, because these input faders are active all the time, and it will get very confusing and they will interfere with the scene memory. We'll look now at programming a different kind of light. This is a scanner, an American DJ ComScan LED to be exact, and it's a very clever gadget. It has a mirror that you can pan and tilt by DMX control, and the light underneath is white but has filters that come in front of the light and provide coloured patterns. On my Showtec 2412, this 5-channel light starts at number 13 through to 17. I have 4 of these in total, and I use them in pairs. The first pair are on DMX channel 13 to 17, and the second pair are on DMX channel 18 to 22. These scanners look great in my lighting rig. They're not as good as moving headlights, but they're a lot cheaper. I use them in an unorthodox way though. One pair of them clamp to the lighting stands and face upwards, and the other pair sit behind the PA speakers facing backwards towards the stage. The pair at the front of the stage I use as a controllable follow spot for the main vocalist in the band. Consult the manual to see what the faders do for this light, and then off you go. They are very simple to use. If you want the lights to be in a fixed position when you move the scene fader, just set the fixed position up with the input faders, press the record button once to remember the step, then hold down the record button, hold down the scene memory button that you need the sequence to go to, and release the record button. I use one scene memory for the rear pair of ComScans, the ones that face up, and I use another scene memory for the front pair, which I use as a follow spot. Then I use a third scene memory, which makes them all dance together. This is done by simultaneously using both groups of input faders and pressing the record button after each movement to record the individual steps. This way, it develops into a sequence of steps and the lights dance about quite happily. All you have to then do is record it to a scene memory in the normal way. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it useful. Part 4 will cover how to access channels 25 to 48 of the lighting desk to assign more light functions to the scenes.